I think Kyrie Irving should retire. I think he should announce his retirement today. Kyrie Irving is my comeback player of the year. This brother's something special, and he's putting on a show and reminding everybody of the superstar and the champion we knew him to be.
Kyrie Irving had the best season of his career, proving that Mavs Kyrie may be better than the Cleveland version. Over his 7 seasons with the Cavaliers, Kyrie averaged 21 points a game on 45% shooting, playing as the second option to LeBron James. But in this season alone, Irving averaged over 25 points a game on 50% shooting as the secondary to Luka Doncic. The base of his game has always been the three-point shot, but if we look at Kyrie's shooting spreads from 2016, he was shooting 38% of his shots from 3, 34 mid-range, and 28% at the rim. Whether he's playing in isolation, pick and roll, or in transition, Kyrie will always look to shoot a 3 if he has the space to get it off. Irving has always been a good three-point shooter, making 39% on 6 attempts per game for his career. But he's currently having his most effective season, shooting 41% on 7 attempts a game. Kyrie is comfortable taking shots on the catch, on the move, and even at full speed, as he continues to be the league's best tough shot maker.
I used to tell Kai all the time, I said, bro, I know you want to score. Don't worry about passing me the ball. Don't worry about getting me shots. The shots will find me. Do what you do. And sure enough, he'll go 5, 6, 7 straight.
Because of his abilities to shoot, drive, and pass, he's so dangerous in the triple threat, which is how he starts most of his possessions in the half court. His combinations of jab steps, ball handling, and perfect footwork make him incredibly shifty and impossible to guard. This stat shows the top 9 players in the league with the highest percentage of possessions that are isolations. The first number is how often the possession ends with them taking an isolation shot, and the other is how many points per possession they get on an isolation. Harden is number 1, getting an isolation every 3rd time he touches the ball. But with an efficiency of 1.1, you can't really blame him. Luka is on this list, along with some guys who should never even be allowed to take an isolation with Westbrook and Dinwiddie. But the most effective isolation player in the entire league is Kyrie Irving, who scores 1.18 points per possession. These numbers are incredibly good, allowing the Mavs to get a good look even if their offense breaks down. Even though Kai is perceived to be one of the flashiest players in the league, when you actually watch him, he always tries to keep the game as simple as possible, always making the right play at the right time. A younger Kyrie would lean on his ball handling skills a lot more than he does now, but Irving has learned to keep the game simple, focusing on the details and just playing off what the defense gives him instead of trying to create otherworldly highlights to score. However, when playing against elite defenders, he can still get to his all-time great ball handling skills.
Kyrie has a more complete handle package.
Right.
Is that something you agree with?
Hell yeah. He got the best. Steph, his jumper get him over a lot because he hit you with the hands
so
up.
Afraid of the jumper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then he cross half court, he can let it go.
So you think Kyrie has the best handles ever?
Ever.
At the start of the season though, he wasn't playing at the level that we're used to, as throughout December he only averaged 15 points a game, which in turn led to a team record of 8-8 in the month.
You get to have one of those games where you kind of just take over, whether it's a stretch or a game. How are you feeling in terms of your offensive rhythm? You obviously haven't dealt with a couple little nagging injuries. Do you feel like you're in the flow and just shots aren't going like the way they usually do for you?
Yeah, I mean, we could say that for sure. But I think it's really for me internally just trusting my body and not necessarily paying attention to anyone's expectations but my own, and just being honest with myself. Like, I didn't come into the season the way I wanted to, just the amount of time that I took off, and I knew that the start of the season was going to be a healthy challenge. And I said it the other night, in 12 years, I never took 30 days, 40 days off before the season, and didn't necessarily have the kind of the familiarity with the rhythm of the game, and hadn't played games, missed preseason, and we could throw out all those reasons or excuses, but I think for me, I'm really just proud of myself of just being able to get in better shape. A few spurts throughout the game, 4-minute spurts, 3-minute spurts where I can put 6 points, 7 points, 8 points, 10 points, 12 points. Usually just aren't happening, and I gotta live with that as a professional and as a competitor, and continue to push myself on the off days. So
for the majority of his career up until last season with Dallas, Kyrie had been a point guard, but with it clearly still being Luka's team, Irving had to transition from a point guard to a shooting guard. What this meant for Kyrie was more off-ball actions, catch and shoot threes, and cutting to the basket. With his shiftiness on the ball, he needed to be more shifty without it, and so far he's been able to do just that, finding the open gaps and cutting to the basket for easy layups. matchups, helping the Mavericks offense flow even better than it already was.
But I've never seen anything like Kyrie. A guy that can create a shot at any angle, that can shoot the mid-range, can shoot the three, great at the free throw line, and finishing at the rim. Tell me somebody that's ever been better than Kyrie Irving finishing at the rim, right or left-handed.
I have nothing to add to that. Kyrie Irving is a magician on the basketball court on the offensive side of the floor. What can he not do? When I think about people, they constantly have brought up Allen Iverson, the answer. I covered him for the first 10 years of his career. We know how mercurial he was, a miniature dynamo going into the land of giants and handling his business like the warrior he is. He'd even concede he didn't have this kind of skill set. He couldn't shoot the ball from the perimeter like Kyrie Irving. He damn sure couldn't handle the ball like Kyrie Irving. And Allen Iverson was a marvelous ball handler, okay? Kyrie Irving is nothing short of spectacular.
The duo of Luka and Kyrie was definitely clunky last season, as they were trying not to step on each other's toes too much, and as a result, they both played worse. But with Luka's ability to take over first quarters and dominate early in games, along with Kyrie's ability to close out games and hit massive shots, the pair have figured out exactly when to take over and when to take a step back. Also, they've looked a lot more comfortable playing together in general, as when Luka passes to Irving, he's shooting an impressive 46% from beyond the arc, and when Luka receives passes from Kyrie, he's shooting an impressive 48% on his threes. Along with being more comfortable playing alongside each other, this also demonstrates the amount of space that each player creates when they have the ball in hand, giving each other much easier looks than they were ever used to. With an improved team chemistry, Kyrie from January onwards was the best version we've ever seen from him, finishing the season with averages of 27 points per game on 50% shooting from the floor. With this kind of production from Irving and great deadline moves to bring in more defense, the Mavericks coasted through the end of the regular season to clinch a playoff spot.
I'm just looking at the Dallas Mavericks right now, and I just think the momentum that they have, the way that they've been flowing, it's pretty difficult to bet against them this early, and I'm not going to do it. I'm going to tell you right now, I think that Dallas is going to win this series.
They can dribble it out. And the final standing ovation and roar from the Mavericks fans here in Dallas. Mavericks in the second round.
So far in the second round, though, they've been in a dogfight with the Oklahoma City Thunder, as both Luka and Kyrie have struggled to shoot the ball due to the elite defense of the Thunder. However, at the time of making this video, they still lead 2-1. In the series so far, Kyrie has still been able to score in patches, but he's looked to be more of a playmaker. If the Mavericks are going to win the title, Kyrie will be crucial, as his championship experience is invaluable to this team going forward.